apple risotto, because you know what time it is. It's apple picking season. What are you waiting for, people? Breakfast in bed? A day on the farm's like a day in the Marines. Instead of buying fruit that somebody else picked, you gotta pay 4 times as much to pick it yourself, because that makes sense. Move out, move out, move out. Absolutely badasses. Let's pack them in. 1 big apple or 2 smaller ones, preferably a tart variety, or get them a little underripe. And a couple of shallots, or a really big one. Peel it and dice it pretty fine. A chunk of onion would be fine too. Let's go, people. They ain't paying us by the hour. To balance the sweetness, we got 1 red chili. I'm going to cut it into quarters. If you want to mitigate that heat, take out the seeds and ribs before you chop it up. You know the drill. Assholes and elbows. We want the apples diced pretty fine, or they're not going to be soft enough by the time the rice is done. Easy way to do that is just to start with thin slices. Just fillet them off the sides of the core. I love the core, but toss it when you're done. And then you can just hack through those slices pretty indiscriminately until you've got pieces that won't be much bigger than a grain of rice once they're cooked. All right, gear up, people. Chrissy Teigen pan, activate. Stay strong, Chrissy. Wide pans cook risotto faster even when you're not using simmering liquid, and tall sides help prevent spillage. I usually do risotto on medium heat the whole time through. Olive oil would be fine, but I'm going to melt in a big knob of butter in there. Get hot, people, get hot. In goes the shallot and the chili to soften a bit, and you don't have to do this, but I'm toasting some whole spices, green cardamom and cloves. You could do cinnamon, and it doesn't have to be whole. You could do a pinch of ground ginger, ground allspice, nutmeg. That's right, pumpkin spices, people. Look into my eye. I'm going to add some more fat to the pan, olive oil this time just for variety. Then in goes a cup or 200 grams of risotto rice. I'm using arborio. That's enough for 2 large dinner-sized portions. I've noticed that risotto really does come out better if there's plenty of fat in the pan when the rice goes in. The lipid starch complexes that get created here help for some reason. I don't really understand it. In go the apples, stir everything in, and we need some liquid because stuff is about to burn. Talk to me, Hudson. A little bit of any apple-flavored liquid you like. If you're using apple juice, you'll want to stop there or it'll be too sweet. But because I'm using a nice, dry, hard cider, I'm going to put in the whole 12-ounce can, 350 mils. One of the reasons to cook with alcoholic beverages is that the yeast have metabolized much of the sugar into booze. Therefore, we're not going to have too much sugar for a savory dish. It's a health food. A cider a day keeps the doctor away. Well, maybe not. And if your diet is as imperfect as mine is, consider filling your micronutritional gaps with the sponsor of this video, Ritual, whom I'll now briefly thank. Ritual is the obsessively researched and transparently made multivitamin. If you have trouble taking a multi because of certain sensitivities or ingredients that you're trying to avoid, Ritual is the daily vitamin you've been looking for. It's vegan-friendly, the omega-3s are from algae, and the capsules are cellulose, not gelatin. It's sugar-free, non-GMO, it's gluten-free, allergen-free, all of the ingredients are traceable. It's a no-nausea, delayed-release capsule designed to be gentle on an empty stomach, and it's minty, which is nice in the morning. I take the man one, but there's formulas for women, prenatal vitamins, whatever you need. And Ritual is delivered to your door at no extra charge, so you never run out and fall off the vitamin wagon. Ritual is offering you 10% off your first 3 months. Just do us both a favor and go to ritual.com/Adam when you order. That link is in the description. Thank you, Ritual. All right, keep it tight, people. Another good way to balance the sweetness of the apple is with these. Some dried mushrooms, sweethearts. You heard the man. Pull them out. Let's have them. I'll just brush off any visible grains of sand or anything and break them in there. They'll swell up twice as big, so you got to break them apart. Maybe 10 grams of dried porcini in there just to balance the fruitiness with some umami, people. Shag it. Between the cider and the mushrooms, I don't think I need to use any stock here. Water's fine. I've got plenty of flavor. But because none of my liquid is salty, I'm going to put in a big pinch of salt to start with, just to get the inside of the grain seasoned. Stir that in. I want a nice clean dispersal this time. Enough liquid so the rice is really swimming, and then at this point, you really don't have to stir it, not until the mixture starts to get thick and dry again. Meanwhile, I can prep my finishing flavors. Some manchego cheese instead of the traditional Parmesan. Manchego is milder, nuttier, it's not as acidic. I think it pairs better with the apples. And for fresh herbs, some sage would be autumnal as but I'm using tarragon. It's got an anise flavor, which goes well with those pumpkin spices. You see them married in things like Chinese 5-spice. I'm just pulling whole leaves off of the stems. Big whole leaves will look prettier wilted into the risotto. Are you lean? Are you mean? All right, look sharp, people. When the liquid is absorbed, the rice could catch on the bottom of the pan and burn really fast. Put in some more liquid. I'm sticking with water, and I'm going to scrape to deglaze anything that may have stuck. Check those corners. Check those corners. At this point, I will stir almost constantly because I want to want to keep the mixture reasonably dry. I don't know how much more liquid this rice is going to need, and I don't want to put in more than it can absorb, so I'm just adding a little bit at a time and stirring to keep everything cooking evenly and to prevent sticking. Stay frosty. Grind in a bunch of pepper when you got a minute. Again, it helps to balance the sweetness. At this point in my life, I can judge the doneness of risotto rice pretty well by sight. The center of the grain is still a little white, so I know this needs a few more minutes. You can always just taste them. When the rice is just slightly underdone, I turn off the heat. I can tell that's going to need more water. It'll thicken as it cools, and the cheese is going to thicken it a lot. When the bubbling has mostly stopped, I'll melt in some more butter. If you put in your butter and cheese when the risotto is still really boiling, the fat will separate and you'll get an oily, grainy texture instead of a creamy one. I'll grate in a big pile of manchego. If you want to keep it vegan, finish with vegan sour cream instead of butter and cheese. We're almost done, so time for the fresh herbs. 10 seconds, people. Look sharp. Stir that in until everything's melted and you can taste for seasoning. Need some more salt and some more water for my taste. Again, it'll thicken a lot as it cools. Let's go. Head them out onto the plate. That's what we're going to do, sweethearts. We're going to go and get some. You think we need an apple garnish to remind us that there are apples in there? Here, there's your apple garnish. You secure that shit, Hudson. And I know this seems like a weird flavor combination, but it really tastes pretty familiar. The fruit and heat and spice taste like an Indian chutney. Those classic British cold weather pumpkin spices also happen to be curry spices because colonialism. And it's all wrapped up in a big starchy creamy blanket, an autumnal delight. Hudson, come here. Come here.